Everybody welcome, you're hanging out with Ben. This is the Hardcore Punk Project here on the X, 92.5 FM in Kamloops. Now, today we have yet another special guest. Now or Nowhere is the third album by The Damn Truth, a band that in many ways has been hiding in plain sight for the last 9 years, slowly bubbling up from the underground onto the radar of a wider audience. They've opened for ZZ Top, The Sheepdogs, Styx, Rival Sons, and more. With 6 tracks produced by Bob Rock and 3 tracks from help from Juno Award-winning producer Gene Massicotte, mixing was done by Vance Powell, Nick Didia, and Mike Plontnikoff. From Montreal, The Damn Truth is Lee-la Baum,
Hi there.
Tom Schemmer, P.T. Letelier, and Dave Traina. Okay, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
Okay, you okay with the teen interviewing you?
Yeah, for sure.
Alright. Now, I only picked a few songs because I'm short on time to talk about today,
Sounds good.
but I picked the ones that I like the most.
That's important.
Okay, the first song I picked is This Is Who We Are Now. I think it's anthemic as all hell. Do you have anything to share about the song?
Sure. This Is Who We Are Now came out while touring in the US. We were driving in the middle of the night in Texas, and Tom was driving. He's the lead guitarist. And suddenly that line, the chorus line of This Is Who We Are Now, the melody, the hook, the guitar riff, all of it came to him like all in one flash. And basically screamed out to PY, our bass player who was sitting next to him, and said, take out your phone, record this, it's gonna be something. And then it sort of turned into our motto throughout that whole tour, like that line, This Is Who We Are Now, could be so malleable and used in so many different connotations. So it ended up being like our motto throughout the tour. And we came back, we couldn't wait to get into the studio and work on it and finish it.
All right. Okay. How would you describe your band as a drink?
As a drink?
Yes.
All right. As a drink, I would say we are, let's go with something that has a kick to it. It'll have to be Jack Daniel's whiskey.
All right.
It's spicy, it's strong, it leaves you wanting for more.
All right. If someone was to make a movie about your band, who would play you and why? Or who would you like to play you? Who would you like to play you?
Right. Who would I like to play me? It's a great question, which I've never thought of. I have no idea. Truthfully, I'd love to try because I love acting. I'd love to play myself in the movie.
I don't have any suggestions either because I can't find anyone who looks exactly like you.
Well, that's good, I guess. Originality is important.
Yeah, I was inspired to ask that because there's going to be a new Jeff Buckley biopic, and Reeve Carney is going to be playing him.
Okay, right on. Yeah, Jeff Buckley deserves a biopic for sure. It's awesome. I didn't know.
Okay, next song I picked was Look Innocent. I think I felt some Pink Floyd vibes in the intro.
Awesome, man. Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, we were listening to a lot of Floyd, well, always. We listened to a lot of Floyd for sure. It's funny, like that song is kind of like this fight that Tom and I had. We actually did fight over if we should get which pet we're going to get, if it's going to be a dog or a cat or a bird. And then the fight turned into something a lot deeper and, got blown out of proportion. And then, and then we kind of wrote a song around that about how you sort of make a big deal out of the little things. I love that song a lot. I'm also a little scared of it because I really blow my voice out even from that first intro, that just sort of the scream that happens there in the beginning. So I'm never really sure what my voice is going to do every time we sing it. It's always a little bit different.
That's why it kind of reminded me of The Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd.
Oh man, I love that song.
Because
Thank you so much.
a little break towards the end, or some random female singer just goes nuts.
Yes, absolutely. That song is incredible. That song has inspired me to no end.
All right. Now, 10 minutes alone, 10 minutes in a room alone with one of your biggest musical influences. Who would it be and what would you talk about?
I guess that's a really hard one, but I'll have to go with Joni Mitchell on this one because I don't know. I find that she was such an incredible force, to be reckoned with in the 60s and the 70s. Her music inspires me so much, especially those early albums of hers where it was just her and her guitar. There's so much beauty and power, and I would definitely ask her about what she was going through, in her life, what inspired her to write those songs, and I guess like what it was like to be a female solo artist in the 60s and 70s when there was still so much taboo around being, a solo artist. She had a lot of, she was a very strong feminist, and that's something that interests me a lot, to find out what that was like in the 60s and 70s.
All right. The same artist, if they were to cover one of your songs, which one would you want and why?
Sorry, repeat the beginning of the question.
The same artist, so Joni Mitchell, if they were to cover one of your songs, which one would you want it to be?
Joni Mitchell could cover one of our songs. I'd love to hear what she would do with Only Love, how she would phrase it, how she would sing it, and what kind of instrumentation she would take it to. That would be pretty cool.
Okay. You think music could be a universal language?
Yeah, I truly do.
Like if we were contacted by an alien species, will it be musical notes? What do you think?
I think it's not so much the notes as much as the players who play them, or the performers who were to sing, or to to bring this music forth, because I do believe it, that music transcends a lot of things that we have a hard time talking about. And a lot of times, you can just convey emotion through melody, through power of, depending on what kind of instrumentation you're going to play, how you're going to play it. If it's a really, really rough and rockin' tune, you can get a certain vibe out of it and certain energy, and you can pass that along without the need to actually understand the words. I've been listening to this Italian rock band that just won the European Eurovision Song Contest. It's hilarious. I don't speak Italian. I don't know the song at all, but there's just something that that got me. Their performance, the way they look, the way they sound, the way the music works together. Didn't have to understand the lyrics to know that I like that song.
All right. If you could put something in a time capsule that would not be open for 25 years, what would it be and why?
Something. One thing in a time capsule. A thing. Could it be a let me think. A thing. If I was to put a thing in a time capsule, 25 years. I'm going to have to say pass on that one. I cannot think of anything I would want to hide for 25 years.
Yeah. I was inspired to ask that by this news article I read, where kids from this year are putting like COVID-19 era stuff in a time capsule that would be open in, I think, 25 years.
Right on. Yeah, fair enough. I'm kind of hoping to forget completely about this COVID year soon.
All right.
I understand. Yeah.
Okay. Next song I picked is Full on You.
Cool.
If there's no guitar in the verses, then I'm gonna like the song. That's why. No guitar in the verses kind of leaves more room in the mix for the bass, which is something I personally like, as you can see behind me.
Yeah. Do you play?
I play bass.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, Full on You is a really fun song to play live. It has so much energy. It's definitely one of my favorites. One of Bob Rock's favorites, I think. Like he really was drawn to that song as well, and which is why we had a really fun time producing it in the studio with him. Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Bob, was he kind of strict like he usually was?
Truthfully, he was like a big teddy bear.
Oh, I just watched his days with Metallica, and I was like, I don't think I want him to produce my stuff.
Fair enough, man. I think there was a lot that was sort of done for the movies, maybe a lot of extra drama, or maybe they were harder people to get along with. I really don't know. I know that our experience with him was absolutely
Mhm,
like incredible. He was
mhm.
so kind. He was opened. He was gentle. Like any idea he brought was always like, well, let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll throw it out the window, move on to the next. There was never, I didn't feel any strictness. There were a few times during our recordings where he kind of turns to us and says, could you guys be any more difficult? Like, because we were just there to to learn from the man. He's a legend, and we weren't, we really wanted to hear what he has to say and to try out all his ideas. So we had a really great time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I asked that is because Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue said Bob whipped us like galley boys.
Yeah, I understand. Also, we only got to do 4 days in the studio with Bob. Like, hopefully, we'll get to do another record together and spend a lot more time together. And maybe after a couple of weeks, the other side might shine through. But who knows? Yeah.
All right. All right. Are you like superstitious in any way, like any traditions before going on stage or recording?
We definitely hug it out. We do a big hugging circle, the four of us, just before getting on stage. Sometimes it's awkward because we've got guitars on our backs and we're like trying to hug each other and we're banging into the necks. And so we start the start the show off very close. We're a very tight knit family. I really believe that we love each other very much. And the nights where we somehow didn't get to hug don't turn out as good. So sure, I'm a little superstitious about that.
Now look at this, my cat just jumped up on my lap.
Oh, he's beautiful. What's his
Yeah,
name?
his name is Viola. We thought he was a lady at first, he turned out to be a boy.
I had a bird like that once. We called him Moses, and then he had to become Mosetta.
Alright, he's just gonna be crawling around on my stuff while I'm doing this.
That's awesome. I've got a little cat as well, but he's very old, so he just, slowly
Mhm.
comes around when he can.
Yeah, Viola's only like a couple months old.
That's fun.
Okay, what are your thoughts on the paranormal? Has like anything unexplainable ever happened to you?
Um, Good question. It's very interesting. Like with me, I have never, I guess, seen or felt anything that was too, I guess, too unexplainable. But I do know that anytime I hear a story of a close friend or somebody who tells me that they've had some kind of, they felt the presence of a ghost, a spirit, or they felt things that are a little bit out of, let's say, I guess what we call our norm. I always get like, the hairs on the back of my neck rise, and I always get that feeling like it makes total sense to me that there is a lot of unexplainable phenomenon in our universe, and I would not be surprised if I was to, experience something sort of in my day to day. As for yeah, I guess the closest I got to feeling I guess a very strong spirituality was after 10 days of silent meditation. I did a silent meditation course in India. It was called the Vipassana. And after 8 days of not speaking a word and just meditating, and you learn this process, you learn this last sort of meditation, which is called the metta, which is sort of the giving of love. And you just sort of, all of this energy that you've brought inside of you, you start to like imagine how it's pouring out of you. And I remember having this feeling like I was able to put my finger straight through my third eye chakra, and it sort of exploded into light. And I really will always remember this feeling. It was very wild. Yeah. So I guess I kind of had my own little paranormal experience now that I think about
it. I'm trying not to laugh here. It's
That's all good.
Just big words make me laugh.
That's good. I like it.
Okay, we're back. I paused it with my paper roll. I was trying to get to the next page. Okay. Next song I picked was Shoto.
Awesome.
Now, the vocals and arpeggiated guitars in the intros really got me hooked. What can you say about this one?
This song is very, very powerful for me to sing. I think it really sums up a lot of my feelings towards our society, and how there's still so much bloodshed and death for no reason, how people can still be gunned down in the street for just being there sometimes, or for having too much of an opinion on something. And I don't know. I mean, most of the lyrics were written by PY. This is one of the songs that he brought into the band, and it was I just loved it from the first moment I heard it. And then after it went through what we call the Damn Truth machine, which is when you bring in like a sort of bare bone song, and then everybody adds their little parts to it. Tom came up with all those really great riffs and all that that what you just spoke of, that arpeggiated chorus, all that stuff. And it turns into, a whole new animal that's really us. It's like an accumulation of everything that we go through in our day-to-day, and what we go through in our studio together while producing these songs. And it's very, very emotional to me. I really love this song. And it's not for nothing that we put it as the last song, as the closing to the album, because I do believe it has a very strong message of peace and love, and a very strong message of, that society is still on its way to get better, to be more accepting, to be more loving of each other. We still have a long way to go.
Okay. Now, in the video for This Is Who We Are Now, the spinning room designed by Io, or as I'd like to call it, the lung crusher, because if you hang upside down for too long, all the blood flows to your head and then it crushes your lungs.
Yeah, we all felt that.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being a laughable scare and 10 being therapy for like a week, how scared were you?
The first moment, I would say an 8. And then after we went around 2 or 3 times, I'd say a healthy 6.
Yes, you were still scared.
Yes, I was still scared. And I think it shows in the video that even though we're like, we're trying to perform the song as best we could, we're also trying not to fall on our faces while the walls are crashing down below us. And it's very disorientating. And it's still, to me, like when I watch it, I still get nauseous just looking at the footage. It was an undertaking, to say the least, but it was so much fun. Like we say, I was still scared, and I was at a 6 of scare, but I was also at an 8 of fun. So it balanced it out.
All right. Here's something to lighten up the mood now. What country has the fastest growing population?
Fastest growing population? Is it? That's a good one. Is it India?
No, it's Ireland. Every day it's Dublin.
Fantastic.
All right. Now, it's tough being a kid and a teen and wanting to go to concerts and shows in Canada, because there's no all ages shows, like literally none. Only one venue I know has one. I think bands should be able to start playing at schools, community centers, small arenas, and people can listen to local bands. What do you think?
Absolutely. We've played a few all ages shows, even here in Montreal. They do have that sometimes. It's kind of rare, but it has to be the really big venues with really big bands. We've gotten to like the ZZ Top tour that we were on, for example. That was an all ages show. So it depends what the band is. I definitely think that more younger people should be exposed to live music as soon as possible and as much as possible. I'm with you on that one.
Okay. When we start back our lives after COVID, which is the new normal, what do you think? What do you see changing as far as touring?
I'm hoping that it won't change that much because I really want to tour. I really, really feel that our band thrive on the road. We love living out of our suitcases. We love, traveling together and, visiting different countries and different places in the world. We have the most fun when we're on tour. So I hope not too much is going to change. I know it's going to be harder to tour in the beginning because everybody's going to be touring. All the musicians have been saying the same thing, how they're just dying to get on the road. And so there's only so many places and so many tours that I guess can be scheduled at the same time. But I just hope that we will be able to get on the road as soon as possible. We have a UK tour booked for February of 2021, which will hopefully spread out to the rest of Europe as well. But we do hope to tour Canada again as soon as possible once all the provinces open their borders. That would be really, really great.
All right. Now, this is the last question in my interview, and it's also the question that I ask all the artists I've interviewed. About 60, I'd say.
Amazing. Good for you.
Will you accept a challenge from me?
Sure.
Now, I think this is fitting as we all hope that tours and shows start happening again. A cover of On the Road Again by Willie Nelson in your style, uploaded to YouTube.
Would we try to do that? Sure, man. Sure. I love that song. It'll be fun.
I was thinking of this because I saw a couple covers of like Buck Cherry, which is a good punk band, doing a cover of On the Road Again. I think it was pretty decent, so I think you should do it too.
Awesome, man. I definitely will give it a shot. Why not?
All right.
It'll be a pleasure. Thanks for the idea.
Okay. Now, we're out of time now, so I'd like to thank you, Lee-la, for joining me here on the X. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you so much, Ben, for having me, and have a great day.
All right, you too.